We are live from our studios. We're in Kokomlemle on digital address GA0992539. It's your home of fearless, credible and independent journalism. Our lead stories this hour. The minority in Parliament accuses government of opportunism as it files a motion seeking parliamentary probe into government's use of middlemen to procure COVID-19 vaccines from Russia. We're live in Parliament House for details. The Controller General of the Ghana Immigration Service reveals over 37,000 non-Ghanaians have been intercepted at Ghana's borders since its closure in March last year.
We're closed by His Excellency. Last year, March, we have intercepted over 37,000 non-citizens trying to enter Ghana.
More as the Immigration Service teams up with police, military and other security agencies with renewed fire in Operation Conquered Fist, deploying men along Ghana's land borders to prevent terrorist infiltration. Also coming up, water shortage in major parts of Accra enters day 5 as residents begin to feel the pinch of the situation.
You top your 3 days, I'm top your 5 cedi. I'm the Guana Mamma. As I say, can't in my eye, me been toy. Pipe in the Munya Cranty Antimum,
We have more as the Ghana Water Company Limited attributes the problem to engineering challenges. The Pulse is brought to you by Global Communities Dignilu, Affordable Safe Sanitation. Join us on DSTV 421, GoTV 144. We're streaming live on YouTube and our other social media handles. My name is Gifty Ando Apia, and this is The Pulse. Please be my guest. We settle for the details now. This afternoon, residents in most parts of Accra are beginning to feel the pinch of the current erratic water supply in the capital. The situation, which is entering the 5th day, has burdened consumers with either buying water in large volumes from private vendors or walking long distances to buy from smaller vending points. For small businesses like hair salons, the situation has forced owners to close them altogether. My colleague Manuel Kranting visited some of them. Listen to some of the affected areas, and here is Manuel's report.
It's day 5 of the acute water shortage that has hit most parts of Accra. The Ghana Water Company Limited explains that this particular challenge is as a result of a reduction in pressure from pumps at Wager. But within the communities affected, this really is the scene. You have bowls that are now used as water reservoirs, or people having to wake up very late at night to watch as the taps flow in bits. We're here to speak to a few of them to get a sense of what this particular situation has been like and how they have been managing, at least for the past 5 days.
I'm going to get 3 days. Sheba man can't more 3 or Mondo Banyo Tishimlan, Banyo Nekushko Tishimlan, Naiko.
As I need a chic penny at pipe, the piping well. Shiami, no. I can't wake up, but I mean, che. Me Muji Denche, no, let me Muji, stop our fate, no need or Sanoful in a can. No one near California in Engbeje. Oh no, many know for man came, pipe and over man came in Rico. Son on near Café. Yeah, she may let him feel a couple machine, Jimmy. So she's just pointing at that particular bowl that is being used to store some of the water. She explains to me that they've had to wake up at dawn to watch as the tap flows in bits to be able to salvage just a bit for what they do in the day. Oh,
to our fate. It's a no mechanic, but no neck phone BI. Oh, I can know about a few buying.
So she says that they've had to, keep their clothes for a while just to be able to get water to wash. But there's bigger, impact. I've been speaking to some hairdressers who have had to close down their shops or sit hopelessly as they watch clients come in and go out because of lack of water.
Me hairdresser. And so na me di ejuma, but say so ni ho aye ntumi nye ejuma no. Chisi enye nso ansa na yetumi aye ejuma no. Nti no say obi ba na say woni nso a wodi be ye ejuma na. Sabi nipa no ntumi nkose nso mfiri ne fie mfa amba say gina fa ye ejuma na sa gisika. Nti no oba obekọ.
Nti de bia oba na nkoko no ko.
Omoba no moko because me ni nsuo. Ejuma no collapse because say woni nsuo a wodi be ye ejuma. Say nsuo na ye de ye bibia, nsuo na ye de ye washing no. Ansa no wetumi aye ne awobeye. Nti say woni nsuo a wodi be ye washing na nimpa no oba a obekọ. Na say bia manante fi adabraka aba bedru ase. Na makwa akose nsuo 50 pesos say almost 5 cedis say 10 cedis a day. Na me koya na say me buy.
Tikwa de ma. E buy no sunsunsu a. E ba be 1 o'clock no e bo be 1:30 and e try. Poto. Ene ya so no so na egutire mu esi wo. Say ya wen. So na ma to an sole a unya bi fi ya wen. Ti 1 o'clock. Ene kura sister ba ko the next house no friends say yen ko hwe na e bank akrakra. E de bucket be say e bucket 4. And e try. And maybe ene kwa nya poto.
Nti mo akaza mo ti anu mo ye de na mo ye.
Ya top water ni anu mo. Ya top water. 3 days bi am top water 5 cedi. Na me de egu na ma no. Esa na say ka ni ma ya me nya bi ntoy. Pipe ni de munya kuranti entime no mo asu.
Last, the entire community bears the brunt of this particular challenge. Well, there are those who are cashing in, rightly so. They sell water here. What's your name?
I'm Joshua.
Joshua, you sell water here. I mean, is this for the entire community or something?
Yeah, people come from far away, from Accra. I know a lot of people. They come from really far away.
So is it a regular thing that happens, with the water shortage?
Anytime there is water shortage, people come around to fetch.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. So you sell to them or it's for free?
We sell, and it's sometimes it's even expensive than the tap water, the one running out of, because we like money. We've been taught to like money. Yeah. And
so you like money. Don't you think you're exploiting people?
If you take it to be an exploit, that's up to you, because we think we are making money.
And as we're just talking, somebody who has come and is fetching. Madam, who's in there?
But you may fee, sister, no.
Oh no, I went far. Okay.
I'm close the street and go the corner there.
So your water is not coming at home?
Yes.
I see. How long?
3 days.
3 days near in soon by into the Hana on the Sans.
But
I see into we wait you saying, back at saying.
Back at 20 pesos.
Overcall a day will cost saying.
A day 6.
A day will cost 6. I see. So she's just explaining to me that she lives just across the street, fortunately for her, but as water shortage hits, they are here to fetch water, and she pays 20 pesos for every fetch for this particular bucket. And that's the situation right here within the Kanishi community. A lot of people inconvenienced by the acute water shortage, which we are learning.
Manuel Kwanting with our reports there. Well, the Ghana Water Company Limited has been offering some explanation. Here is PRO Stanley Marty speaking to Daniel Dazi earlier today on JoyNews Today.
We have been having some power challenges. Power flow to our water treatment plant has been irregular. As a result, it affected 3 out of 4 of the pumps that we use at the treatment plant. So for the past 5 days, we have been working around the clock to repair these pumps and then put them back to use.
Right. So your pumps got damaged because, quite simply, Doomsaw visited you?
Something like that.
You don't have a standby generator at the Ghana Water Company?
No, our pumps are such powered by a standby. Generators are most of the time unable to give us stable energy or stable power at the high voltages that we require. So the best is to get it from the grid. And that is what we've been doing from time immemorial. ECG and GridCo are doing their best to give us power supply. Unfortunately, they have some challenges at certain times, and it affects us as well. But we hope that these challenges will end, and then we're also going to get a stable supply. Then we can treat water consistently.
When are customers in these areas to expect stable water supply to resume?
I wish I could say something, but I think I'm reluctant to do that because yesterday, for instance, we managed to finish one of the pumps, and a few hours after we put it back into operation, it broke down again. So I'm reluctant to mention timelines. We are working around the clock. We are making sure we are not leaving site until we have all pumps back in operation and then pumping at full capacity. So can be assured that we are doing finish the repairs of the pumps, and then we can supply the way we always do.
Away from water, the Ghana Immigration Service is teaming up with the police, military, Ghana Revenue Authority and other state security agencies in a revived operation for Operation Conjoined along Ghana's land borders following insurgents' actions in neighboring countries. This operation is aimed at protecting Ghana's porous borders and preventing the infiltration of terrorists. Some of Ghana's neighbors have recently been hit by terrorists. In Burkina Faso, a fortnight ago, terrorists killed about 130 Burkinabés. Controller General of the Ghana Immigration Service, Kwame Esuatechi, says they will do their best to ensure that Ghana remains secured, but they want citizens to support them.
In fact, as I speak now, we have what we call Operation Conjoined, where we have the military, the police, the immigration service, Ghana ambulance, Ghana Revenue Custom Division, all positioned at the various parts of the country. When you talk of porosity of the borders, we have intel on the ground. We have our men on the ground. The government is doing its best to make sure that these terrorists don't enter into our country. And it's very important because you ask about what Ghana Immigration Service is doing. Security is a shared responsibility. When you travel outside, you'll find that the citizens also play a part concerning security of their country. We have done our best. We've engaged the communities to report anybody or any person or group of persons that look unfamiliar in their community, and it's working. It's not everything that I can tell you openly, so but we are on the ground working. I will entreat that citizens, Ghanaians, should also play a part in the security of the country. The security forces are doing their best up north through the commitment of the government.
Kwame Esuatechi is the Controller General for the Ghana Immigration Service. He's also revealed that over 37,000 non-citizens have been intercepted since President Akufo-Addo closed Ghana's land borders in March last year.
Since the borders were closed by His Excellency last year, March, we have intercepted over 37,000 non-citizens trying to enter Ghana through the eastern frontier, the northern frontier, and the western frontier. So you can just imagine our men are doing their best. But in
the meantime, the Controller General is warning officials of the service who demand and take bribes from these non-citizens and allow them entry into the country. He's saying such officers will be dealt with when identified. He also wants citizens to volunteer information on non-Ghanaians who try to enter the country through, although he insists that majority of his personnel do not demand bribes.
People always try to give bad news to matters. They don't say the good things. They don't not tell you the good things. You cannot say that one or two immigration officers have involved themselves, but like they say in our culture, in our language, yeah, but you look at the impact. It's the impact that you have to look at, and not that one or two officers have been alleged to collect money and allow people to come in. If we get that information, we will deal with them in accordance with our disciplinary regulations. As simple as that. And the officer also know that you are caught, you'll be dealt with.
And that's about protecting our land borders. Now, former Power Minister Dr. Kwabena Donkor is calling the bluff of Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame to investigate him for his role in the power purchase agreement with energy company GPGC. The state is paying a $170 million judgment debt as a result of cancellation of the agreement with the company. The judge in the London arbitration also ruled that the basis of the decision to terminate the agreements did not reflect the true facts. Speaking on Affront with Winston Amwa, Dr. Donkor said he is ready to face the investigative bodies over the contract he entered into with GPGC.
As the chief legal officer of the country, he has a right to cause for investigation.
Are you prepared to cooperate?
Do I have an option? I'm a law-abiding Ghanaian. If the CID says they want to investigate something, what do I have to hide?
You don't think it's political witch hunting?
You are saying it. I haven't said it.
I'm asking you whether you think
I haven't said it.
I'm asking whether you think that is.
I haven't said that. You asked the question. I said I will go to the CID. This is not the first time I've been called to the CID. You remember the famous Ameri. There are others. You call CID, you have been through all of them. When you have a clear conscience, when you act in the national interest, why not? Anybody has a right to say they are investigating. I have my documents. I went to cabinet. If the whole cabinet was wrong, fine. I came to parliament. If the whole parliament was wrong, fine. I'm not a lawyer. I didn't draft the agreement. The agreements are drafted by the legal officers of the ministry under the supervision of the Attorney General's office. The Attorney General's office was involved. So if you say the draft was wrong, am I a lawyer? Do I understand legalese?
Tell me.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm a layman. But from a layman's perspective, you come to Parliament for approval. And therefore, if you want to cancel, I will expect that you come back to Parliament and state that for this and this reason, I want to cancel. You don't cancel and come and inform Parliament. They are two different things. Because if you've already gone ahead to cancel, you're coming, it's a post facto activity to come and inform Parliament.
As a former Power Minister, Dr. Kwabena Donkor, and the full interview will be played live on Upfront today at 6 p.m. here on the JoyNews channel. You don't want to miss it. You're watching The Pulse with me, Gifty and Rapi. I'm going to take a very quick break. When I return, we'll be talking about our healthcare system. Do stay with us. Welcome back to the show. Many thanks for staying with us. Persons seeking healthcare will no longer have to struggle to get the needed drugs. Or even so, get it at an easy and affordable price. This is because the Christian Health Association of Ghana, CHAG, has established a platform which will ensure medicines for every illness is available for patients in the country. Ghana is ranking as the 6th country in the world to produce fake or substandard medicines. Hannah Odame has more in this report.
Ghana's medicine market is fraught with challenges which affect effective healthcare delivery. The fragmented value chain, delays in payment to suppliers, and lack of proper quality control through post-market surveillance all lead to frequent stockouts and high prices of these medicines. The Christian Health Association of Ghana is set to change this practice with the Med for All platform.
Is intended to remove the financing barrier in the procurement, distribution, prescription, and dispensing of medicines to our clients, especially in the hinterlands, in the unreached segments of the society and underserved populations.
CHAG believes treatment failures due to fake and substandard medicines will soon be curtailed in Ghana. Executive Director of CHAG, Dr. Maxwell Entry.
The data on fake medicines globally and in Ghana is overwhelming. Do we know that a study recently conducted in Kintampo showed that 4 out of 10 medicines in that region were either fake or substandard? That our credibility in quality of medicines is so low. Mr. Chair, this provides opportunity to pool forecasting and demand for medicines and negotiate better prices for medicines whilst controlling and tracking quantity, quality in each step of the value chain.
The Med for All platform is readily available for everyone seeking healthcare in Ghana. For JoyNews, I am Hannah Odame.
Well, let's have a quick conversation about this innovation that's supposed to make people's access to healthcare delivery much easier, perhaps cheaper. Dr. James Duya is Executive Director for the Christian Health Association of Ghana. Dr. James, thank you very much. Tell us a bit more about this platform, why it was necessary in the first place.
All right, thank you very much. A little correction, I'm the Deputy Executive Director.
Right, thank you for that correction.
Right, okay. So we realized that for the places where CHAG facilities work from, especially in remote areas of Ghana, there are some issues with medicines. One, affordability. Prices of medicines are high, so sometimes facilities are not able to cope with the prices. There's the issue of access, where people have to travel all the way to Accra, Kumasi, and some of the big cities to be able to procure medicines. And then the issue of quality as well. So in 2019, with all these issues, we decided to set up a digital platform for procurement of medicines where people can procure medicines online and they get it delivered at the places where the facilities are. And of course, we are using the system of pool procurement, so we are using volumes to negotiate prices with pharmaceutical suppliers to make sure that prices of medicine that are traded on the platform is reduced between 20 to 30%. So this is the platform that we have set up. Since its establishment in 2019, so many facilities have benefited from it. The good thing is that just by the sheer volumes, we are able to negotiate prices so that the prices come within the national health insurance, which makes it also good for the country in the sense that we don't have to spend a lot of money on insurance paying for high prices of medicine. So in the nutshell, we are addressing 3 key issues: quality, access, and affordability of medicines.
Sounds good. But how exactly will it be run? Because you talk about the group of people you're targeting, which is people who usually are in the hinterlands, who can't easily access this healthcare. To what extent are these people available or able to manipulate such a system? How will it be run, and how would they be able to use it?
Yeah, so you know that medicines are, medicines largely are supposed to be prescribed except over-the-counter medicines. And so we have, the medicines are being made accessible to health facilities so that when clients go to the health facility, they can be prescribed this medicine. So the way it works is like, if you want to compare it like Amazon or let's say Jumia, where facilities that need medicines can go on the platform. You see the type of medicines you want, you know the source of it. Of course, quality is guaranteed, and then you order medicines. And then within a period of 14 days, these medicines are delivered to the facility level so that when clients visit the facility, they can have access to the medicines.
Okay, well, it sounds good. Has it already started? I mean, are there timelines that we're working with in this instance, for example, if it hasn't already started?
Yes, we have started already. We started in 2019, and so far since it started, so many facilities have benefited from it. And clients that are accessing these facilities are also benefiting because then it comes within the prices of insurance. And you are aware that there are many people who hold national health insurance cards. In fact, the people who access our facilities, as many as 94% hold national health insurance. And because these prices are affordable, they are able to, go with the insurance card and access these services.
Doc, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. And we hope that one of the key things that this hopes to achieve, which is to reduce the level of fake drugs we have in the system and that are being used, will be achieved. Thank you. Dr. James Duya is the Deputy Executive Director for the Christian Health Association of Ghana. Now, groundbreaking surgery to separate Siamese twins conjoined at the head will give the Ghana Health Service the opportunity to cement the credentials of Ridge Hospital as a health tourism destination. This is according to the Medical Director of the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Dr. Srofenyo. Speaking to Joy SMS host Kojo Youngson, Dr. Srofenyo said the successful execution of this complicated surgery to separate the Bansa twins who were born conjoined at the head will give the Ghana Health Service an opportunity to promote the country as a destination to which people can travel from around the world for healthcare.
It will go a long way to promote the image of the hospital, especially being a government hospital. That will show that being a government hospital and also hospital being managed under the Ghana Health Service, it will be a big boost for Ghana Health Service. We all know that of recent, Ghana Health Service has been in the news for all the good reasons. The way they manage the COVID situation, everybody is praising them for having done a good job. And this will be another feather in their cap. We also do know very well that the Ghana Health Service haven't done series of searches have identified the Greater Accra Regional Hospital as the health tourism center of the appointed the Ridge Hospital as the health tourism center of the Ghana Health Service. And we have been looking out for opportunities to showcase what we have, what it takes to function as a tourism center. So we are looking at not only West African market, but any other markets within the African continent, so that those people who have to travel to, let's say, South Africa or even India can rather come to the Greater Accra Regional Hospital and have their surgeries done.
Dr. Srofenyo, there speaking to my colleague Kojo Youngson. Well, the medical director also said Ridge Hospital was already doing a lot to support the Bansa twins and their family.
So we have a crack team of neurosurgeons. Already Ridge Hospital itself, we are endowed with 3 neurosurgeons. We are endowed with 3 senior neurosurgeons who have very good track record. There are some other reasons that we're going to also bring some neurosurgeons from sister institutions to support them. And they are also looking at the need, probably they may also fly in another neurosurgical consultant who has experiences in handling such situation to come and superintend over the whole exercise that will take place in the Greater Accra Regional Hospital. And this will still be cheaper than sending this baby together with the family outside. If the need arises, the worst scenario will be for them to fly in one person who has a track record of having handled very similar situations, and then we are ready to go.
Well, the twins and their parent are currently resident at the regional hospital while they await the separation procedures, which will last between 12 and 18 months at a cost of at least 3 million Ghana cedis. The parents and the Ridge medical team have been desperately appealing for public support to fund this life-saving procedure.
Go out and ask for help. People will help us to do the surgery for them.
I'm asking for help. I want Ghanaians to help me, anyone at all, abroad, UK, everyone at all to help me in this mode. Yeah.
The number is 055 261 3553, and the name on it is Samuel Ado, the father of the conjoined twins.
We're hoping that we'll get some help for the Temis twins and their parent. Your help is always welcome. Those are the ways that you can support as you hear them announced there. You can also give us a call here at JoyNews and we'll guide you through it. On June 26, Ghana will be joining the rest of the world to observe International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. According to the 2021 World Drug Report, around 275 million people used drugs worldwide in the last year, while over 36 million people suffered from drug use disorders. The report released today further noted that in the last 24 years, cannabis potency has increased by as much as 4 times in parts of the world, even as the percentage of adolescents who perceived the drug as harmful fell by as much as 40%, despite evidence that cannabis use is associated with a variety of health and other harms, especially among regular long-term users. This afternoon, we're breaking down the figures and looking at the situation here in Ghana. And joining me in studio is Nana Benewa from Pombedu. She's from the Legal Department of the Narcotics Control Commission. She will help us understand what the situation in Ghana is as far as this, putting it in the context of this particular report. Nana, thank you very much for your time and welcome.
Thank you very much for having us.
So we've seen the world outlook, although I just went through it briefly. Help us understand where Ghana sits in this context. What is the situation here in Ghana when it comes to drug usage?
As you rightly said, it's a very alarming figure, and the situation has really gotten worse. However, with the passage of the new Narcotics Control Commission Act 2020, that is Act 1019, that was in last year, in May 2020. This law has seen, it has brought more insight into the drug use, and it has changed the perception of the punishments regime with respect to those who use narcotic drugs.
Change for the better? Or
for the better.
For worse?
For the better. For the better. It's something, we are in a very traditional society, as you can attest to the fact. We are not ready yet so to say we are legalizing cannabis use or drug use or decriminalizing it or anything like that. So what we have done in this new law is that we are treating substance use disorder as a public health issue.
Okay.
So now, when you are caught in the possession of a narcotic drug for use, it is you will still be arrested. It's still an offense, but then there's a little bit of a change in it.
Can you help us understand this change? So first of all, I wanted us to have an idea about our usage, which you say is alarming. I'm not sure if you have the statistics to help us with Ghana's situation. If you don't have that now, we can move on and then you give us the highlights of what has changed in our new narcotics.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I can give you now is the highlights of what has changed in new narcotics.
Okay.
The new narcotics.
Let's go for it.
Yes, with respect to, basically, we have separated possession for use and possession for trafficking.
Okay.
And then also purchase for use and purchase for trafficking. And also there's an element of the license regime for the cultivation of cannabis, which the THC content is not more than 0.3%.
That too has changed. So let's take it one after the other so that we don't confuse the viewers and they can follow us. So the first is the purchase for, let me start from the purchase for use and purchase for trafficking.
Yes.
What was the previous regime and what has changed with the new law?
Okay, so with the previous regime was whenever you bought any narcotic drug and you were caught, that was it. There was no separation as to for use or for trafficking.
You're not going to be asked whether you bought it to use or whether you bought it to traffic.
And no, you would be asked, but then for use, you will still have to go in for a minimum of 5 years.
Okay.
Imprisonment.
That you bought narcotics and you wanted to use it.
Yes.
You are likely to be in jail for 5 years.
Yes.
Okay.
But now, if you are caught in the possession of narcotics or you bought it for use, we go into it. Okay. Whereby we say that now with the sanctions or the penalties that are attached with the use of narcotic drugs is penalty. That is, the penalty is the fine. You have to pay a fine.
You won't go to jail?
Not immediately. However, the modalities that come with it is that now we have something we have identified that substance use disorder is a public health issue. So we have to put the mechanisms in place, yes. But then what we would have to do is to certify you as having substance use disorder, in which the law allows the judge to, instead of sending you to jail or even asking you to pay the fine, the judge may direct that you seek treatment at a rehabilitation facility.
But we don't have the rehabilitation facilities as much as we need to get this operationalized, do we?
We don't, but then the law has even made provision for the establishment of a rehabilitation fund.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a separate thing. Let's stick to this one first. So now, if you're caught in possession of narcotics and it's for use, it's established that you bought it or you have it for use, then you would be the judge is expected to direct you to be subjected to some sort of rehabilitation at whose expense?
The judge is not expected to. The judge may. The law says that the judge may direct that you seek treatment as a rehabilitation center. Okay. It's not at the expense of the user or the person with a substance use disorder.
The state is supposed to pay for it?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And also not just the state as in the state in totality or in general. However, as I indicated, there's a substance use, there's a rehabilitation fund which the law has directed should be established by the commission, that is the Narcotics Control Commission. And that fund is supposed to be used to rehabilitate people with substance use disorder and, yes, so there's provision, the provision has also been made for that.
Okay, so for purchase,
yes,
for what, for sale, is it for trafficking?
For trafficking.
If you are caught with narcotics that you intended to traffic, what happens? What has changed?
Oh, for traffic, no, not much has changed. Yes, it's still...
what happens to you?
You are caught with this, you are arrested, you are charged, you go to through the trial process, and then you are sent. If you are convicted, then you are sentenced.
How many years are we looking at for that?
Minimum of 10, maximum of 25 years.
Minimum of 10, maximum of 25 years. So let's talk a little bit about the fund. You're coming from the commission. Tell us a little bit about how this fund is supposed to be established. Who will pay what into this fund? And how operational, maybe when will it be?
So the fund is supposed to be established by the commission, and it's supposed to be, the law has created steps as to who to manage the fund. It's supposed to be managed by an independent trustee.
Okay.
And then the monies that are supposed to go into the fund are supposed to be solicited from donations, grants, from that are raised from the public or from external sources, also from external sources and then internal sources, and then monies from Parliament as well.
Okay. It's external sources. When you say external sources, isn't it a bit too vague so that anybody else?
No, we can do donations. We can raise funds.
So I'm a drug trafficker and I want to donate to
if you are telling me that you're a drug trafficker,
I won't tell you, but I'm just creating a scenario where I'm a drug trafficker, and because I want to legitimize myself, I find a way of becoming friends with the commission, because now you need you need money to create this fund, and I contribute a lot to this fund.
Oh,
how will the commission know?
The commission would know. It's not just that we will put collection plates in public and say anybody at all should come and put money in there. To go through a process. It's a public organization. We don't just take from anywhere. We will do our investigations, and we're going to be authorized. There are certain places and people that will be willing to really receive money from. We have international donors. We have organizations, civil society organizations. Certain people would be willing to donate as well. So it's not that we would just go put a place in the marketplace and be asking people for money. Yeah.
So let's finish up with the highlights of the new law. We've talked about possession and the kind of sanctions that you'll be liable to should you be caught. What else can you share with us?
Okay, with respect to the new law, we had to, one of the main things in the law that is all over the place is the fact that we now have the provision in the law for the grant of license for cultivation of cannabis.
Yes.
So I may need to emphasize here that it's not for the cultivation of all cannabis or just any cannabis. The law has specifically stated that it has to be cannabis that the THC content is not more than 0.3% on a dry waste basis. So in this instance, it's not just any cannabis that you'll be licensed to cultivate. And this particular one, you have to go through certain processes. And also, apart from the fact that the type of cannabis has been restricted, it is also the cannabis that you are going to apply to the minister, the minister to be given license to cultivate. It has to also be used for industrial purposes, medicinal purposes. It's not for recreational use.
I see. Who will check all of these things? The commission.
The commission will check it.
And the PhD level and all that you said. How do I know? I mean, out of ignorance, can't I be cultivating a different kind of cannabis?
No, we will regulate that. We will regulate that so that it's not that you just go anywhere and then get your seeds or seedlings and then come to us to show us what you have and then we'll give you a license. No, it's going to be properly regulated.
So can a license be granted to a person who cultivates? You've indicated that under the new law, you can't be granted that license. What is the regime of inspection to make sure that somebody who has the license already and is cultivating cannabis is not abusing that license and sort of introducing all kinds of things?
There will be monitoring processes involved. It's not that once you are granted the license, we just leave you to go on your merry way. You're going to continue to monitor and then supervise and make sure that whatever it is that you have been granted the license to do, you are following through with it. Yes. Okay. And then this particular provision is going to be governed by a legislative instrument, which has not been passed yet, but is going to be properly legislated.
I see. Interesting. I mean, I don't know, but when it comes to monitoring and implementation of things, Ghana does not have a very terrific historical background. So we'll just leave it at that and trust that the system will go through it. But for people who are staying at home and not even aware about this, the use of cannabis, etc., what do you want them to take away from this conversation?
What I would like for them to take away from this conversation is that cannabis has not been legalized in Ghana. It is still an offense. When you are caught in the possession of cannabis, when you are caught using cannabis, when you are caught cultivating cannabis,
without license.
Yes. We haven't started giving licenses yet. So now, as the position is an offense. So the misconception surrounding it that we have legalized cannabis, it has been decriminalized, that is not the truth. So right now, the only way that you can actually say that you have been, you can cultivate cannabis or you can cultivate cannabis freely is when you are granted that license. And for now, Narcotics Control Commission, the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Interior has not started giving licenses out yet. So for now, if anybody is caught cultivating cannabis, it's still an offense.
Okay.
And you cannot smoke cannabis or use cannabis just around like that. It's still an offense.
Okay, that's the bits of the legal bits there. What about for parents and for young people who have the tendency of experimenting, not so legal, but not from a legal perspective? What kind of advice, as someone coming from the Narcotics Commission, would you give families and to young people
who would like to experiment the use of narcotic drugs? Just stay away from it. It's illegal. The use of narcotic drug is illegal. Do not do it. If you are caught doing it, it's an offense. You'll be prosecuted for it.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add? Otherwise, that'll be it for me.
Nothing. And we want to just want to thank you so much for giving us the platform to be able to talk to the public.
Well, hopefully the message is going down and hopefully we'll be doing the right thing. I've been talking to Nana Benewa Frimpong-Bedu. She's from the legal department of the Narcotics Control Commission here in Ghana. So as you know, Ghana has not even started issuing any licenses for the cultivation of cannabis as yet, and it is not legal. We have not legalized the usage of cannabis. Even the law doesn't do that. What it does is that it allows it to a certain extent where you're using it for medicinal purposes, etc. So that's a bit of a clarification there for those who didn't know. Nana, thank you very much for coming. Now, the minority in Parliament is accusing government of opportunism as it files a motion seeking parliamentary probe into government's use of middlemen to procure COVID-19 vaccines from Russia. The minority is also demanding a bipartisan parliamentary probe into the Frontier Healthcare Services deal for COVID-19 testing at the Kotoka International Airport. Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu has been addressing a media briefing in Parliament House.
We are more incensed by the terms of these multiple illegal agreements which currently is worrying for our purposes, as we are shortchanged as Ghanaians by our government agreeing to $19 to $26 per jab of Sputnik V instead of the $10 that other countries and multilateral agencies like the AU have purchased some of it. So we can't reconcile it. Only Ghana is paying high amount of $19 to $26 when other countries have paid less, and at least market price should be in the region of $10. And even the quantities, you would have to match it. When he says for one of it, it is not as if it's the first AstraZeneca where you need a double jab. So even the mathematics of it is also revealing, and we want you to help us probe further into this. We are of the view that the Sputnik contract signed between the Ministry of Health for and on behalf of the government of Ghana and the third party is not in the interest of Ghana. It is not probably the best to justify the safety and health of Ghanaians, and therefore we are calling for a halt and a probe. We have accordingly filed a parliamentary motion to demand a bipartisan investigation and inquiry into the matter, and the report will advise us accordingly what course of action we should take. Accountability, you must demand it. Ours, even as we relate to the facts, you must go behind the facts to get more details. You have already heard the recent response by the Minister for Transport on the floor of Parliament on an urgent question on how a private company, Frontiers Healthcare Services Limited, was chosen. Noguchi could have performed this role at least cost to the state of Ghana. Is a loot and share for family and friends at the airport as far as this transaction is concerned. They probably have raked in a colossal $16.3 million for charging travelers $150 per person. It was further reduced to $50 if you are a citizen and an ECOWAS citizen, and we are told that out of the $16.3 million, the Kotoka International Airport and the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, which is the partner in the relationship, only got $1 million. So what kind of agreement is it that benefits only a private sector individual? He goes home with $15 million, yet you expect us as Ghanaians to make a contribution to a COVID trust fund. You could generate these resources. This money could have come into Noguchi. Noguchi could have strengthened their institutional capacity for purpose of investigating many of these public health malice in our country. Yet they are going away. And even these numbers, we are relating it to passenger numbers, and it doesn't write up. So the media sit up and investigate this. How many Ghanaian passengers have entered the country in the last 1 year? Multiply it plus or minus 150 or plus or minus times $50, depending upon the citizen. But this is a complete rip-off of the state. You enter into a contractual agreement, I'm giving you the space, and we are raising this because Ghanaians who are affected, some struggle, and I give you this genuine example, not out of the politics of it. I was boarding a flight from the Emirates to Accra. 2 Ghanaian citizens were stopped just at the point of embarking on their flight because they couldn't show evidence of a Frontier ticket that they had paid the money. So this is a Ghanaian who is returning to his country. Probably his parent could meet him at the airport, make the deposit of the $50 because it's possible that you could be traveling with less than $100 in your pocket or $50 US. They were stopped, save that they had evidence that they had paid and showed the receipt for purpose of check-in. We are concerned about government not being sensitive to the plight of poor Ghanaians who may be returning home to their country as a result of job losses because of COVID, only to be charged for COVID, only to benefit a private player and not the Republic. We are concerned about it, and we think that you must probe further into this matter. As you know, this transaction was characterized again by the Nana Addo Dankwa government lack of transparency and accountability. When you ask them, they say, oh, COVID, emergency. So under emergency, our procurement laws must stand still. Is that the case? That because there's COVID in Ghana, our laws should not work?
That's the Minority Leader, Haruna Idrisu there. Joseph Opoku Gakpo is joining in from Parliament to give us the details. Hi, Joseph.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Joseph. This looks like a matter that won't just go away as far as the minority is concerned. They're calling for this particular probe. Have they already filed a motion, or was this an announcement to say they are or we are going to file a motion?
It very much looks like, for now, it's an announcement to the effect that they are done with the drafting of the said motion. They are getting it all the way to the clerk's office to then allow for the subsequent processes, including an action by the speaker, and then eventually we'll get to the floor for the necessary debate and approval. And so for now, it very much looks like it's still work in progress. That hasn't yet gotten to the point of the entire exercise commencing. The House is taking a break because MPs are being asked to go support the various processes when it comes to census over the weekend. So the House is not sitting tomorrow, and they're not sitting on Monday either. They'll be back on Tuesday, by when most likely the full processes to get this through would have been completed. And then we look forward to the motion being formally moved on the floor to then allow for debate and possible approval if it gets the support of more than 50% of all members of Parliament.
I'm saying Kobna Minta Kando, you know, the ranking member seated by the minority leader. He recently was seen at the airport with the chairman of the committee, you know, checking the protocols there, etc. I'm wondering if he also addressed the media and what he had to say.
Gifty, I missed the final part of it, but the point about the role that the committee has played in terms of monitoring the said activities at the airports, well, the indication the committee members, particularly on the minority side when it comes to the health committee, have given is that they are very much in support of the full processes.
Okay, it looks like I've just lost Joseph there, but Joseph was trying to help us understand the minority's position, because, like I said, we're seeing the ranking member on the Parliamentary Committee on Health visit the Kotoka International Airport, commending the processes that are ongoing there, and I'm trying to get the sense of what the minority says as far as the process, because now they're calling for a probe into the award of the contract. And Joseph was just helping us with some information. We'll try and raise Joseph again. But let's quickly get onto the Ministry of Health website and take a look at the figures. We understand that it is growing, or if you like, increasing, rather, unfortunately, steadily. So we have new cases, 23, after we had gone down a couple, you know, numbers down. We're coming up, it looks like. So far, we've got active cases right now standing at 1,317. 1,317. And we know that the last time we checked, I think, was about 790 people who had died. Now the figure is about 794,000. 794 people, I beg your pardon, who have died. But we have fresh cases numbering 23. We'll be trying to get Joseph Opoku Gakpo back to also get a sense of other cases or other the things that have been dealt with in Parliament today, especially also about vetting of deputy ministerial nominees and the outcome of that. But let's focus on COVID for now. Well, with COVID infection numbers dropping pretty much across Europe, the EU is daring to look beyond the pandemic. What can and will be done to help economies there bounce back from the economic and social fallout of the pandemic? Things are starting to move in member states, and DW's reporter Nicole Frolish has the latest. She's joining us from Berlin. Nicole, the EU chief has been touring member states, greenlighting the national COVID recovery plans. What will post-pandemic investment focus on?
Well, the EU itself says that this is more than a recovery plan, that it's a historic chance to sustainably transform our economies to help them emerge stronger from the pandemic. And that is something they're willing to spend 750 billion euros on. The aim is to make European states greener, more digital, and more resilient towards future challenges of this magnitude. Over the past months, almost all member states have been presenting their national plans. And this week, we're seeing EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen shake a lot of hands and congratulate a lot of leaders on their proposals. After approval, the different states will receive a first payment to help them kickstart the recovery. This is all being done with a lot of fanfare, not only because this is, along with the EU's long-term budget, the largest stimulus package ever financed in Europe, but also because the EU is going through a bit of an image crisis. A recent poll revealed that based on its handling of the pandemic, large parts of Europeans regard the EU project as broken.
Meanwhile, the EU has decided to now extend vaccine export controls. Nicole, what more can you tell us about that?
The mechanism was initially set to expire at the end of June, but has now been extended until at least the end of September. That means that the EU will continue to be able to stop pharmaceutical companies from exporting vaccines to non-member states if they haven't met their supply commitments with the EU. So far, the mechanism was triggered only once, back in March, to block 250,000 doses of AstraZeneca from being shipped to Australia. The EU's vaccination drive has since picked up pace. Supplies are coming in more smoothly, so there hasn't really been the necessity to fall back on such drastic moves that can, after all, have dramatic diplomatic consequences. But with this extension, the EU makes two things very clear: that they don't see themselves as out of the woods just yet, and that they want to keep all their options wide open to make sure they meet their goal of inoculating at least 70% of the EU's adult population by the end of the summer.
Been plans to increase access of vaccines to less developed regions. So what about those plans?
Well, as most richer countries continue to mostly look out for themselves, concerns about unequal access to vaccines are, of course, growing. But plans to increase regional capacities, for example, in Africa, are starting to take shape now. The WHO announced on Monday that South Africa will open a technology transfer center for mRNA vaccines. If all goes well, the new hub could start producing in no more than 12 months. More sites are also planned in other countries like Senegal, Rwanda, and possibly Nigeria. This has been hailed as great news by the South African president and the head of the WHO, because Africa is still the region with the least access to vaccines. Only 2% of the population has so far been inoculated. But with infections tripling or even quadrupling in past weeks, this is not the emergency fix that is needed for a problem that, frankly, the international community has long known about. So much more than a solution for the current crisis, this is an investment in preparedness for the future.
Well, here we've been told to brace up for a third wave, and we're putting our eyes on the ball, hoping to be able to be prepared before it happens. Nicole, thank you very much. Nicole Frolish is correspondent with DW partners in Berlin, watching the pulse with me, Gifty, and our PR. COVID numbers are going up. Do take care of yourself. We'll be right back after this break with more. Back. Let me take you back to Parliament. The majority in Parliament has dismissed demands by the minority for a reverting of 4 deputy minister designates approved by the House yesterday. The NDC MPs today walked out of the chamber as Parliament approved the 4. NPP MP for Buakwa South, Samuel Atachia, however, says the majority did not take their jobs. The minority did not take their jobs seriously. He says the minority's demand for revetting will not be heeded to.
We, from the minority side, will not be part of this debate because the chairman has not been fair to us.
Respect to your committee.
The chairman has not been fair to us. Whilst we were in our constituencies doing national assignment directed by the Right Honourable Speaker, he was organizing a meeting to vet nominees. Mr. Speaker, why should that be so? So our side will not support these 4 nominees. We will not be part of this. And I want to draw this to make this to your attention that we will not take part in the debate. We will not support these people. Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much. So we'll work out. When we finish, we'll come back.
That's Deputy Minority Leader James Klucha Veggie lead his side to walk out of the chamber when the time came for the House to approve Deputy Attorney General Diana Sonabadapa, Deputy Local Government Minister Martin J. Mensah-Kosa, Deputy Sanitation Minister Designate Isiaku Chiana, and Deputy Gender Minister Designate Lariba Abdul. The minority MPs were absent when the 4 were vetted at the appointment committee on June 11. They say they were obeying a declaration of the day as a no-sitting day so MPs can go help with tree planting. But Majority Leader Chairman Sabonsu says the Speaker needs to consult before giving such directives.
It's unfortunate that there was a mix-up in communication. If maybe the Speaker had been much more consultative, we would have seen a way about it. And the Deputy Speaker, who is the chair of the committee, Speaker, I'm told, engaged some of the committee members. Not everybody was present. And unfortunately, information was not transmitted appropriately, which is how come the committee held a discussion and took the decision. To the extent that nobody has any strong point against anybody, Mr. Speaker, I will invite you to put a question and the decision will be taken. Thank you.
At a media briefing, Tamale North MP Al-Hassan Suhaini called for a revetting of the 4 because the majority side disrespected the Speaker's directive.
Our decision is born out of what we consider insincerity and disrespect on the part of the majority, not just to us members of the minority, but even the office of the Speaker of Parliament. You were all in the House when the Speaker directed that members of Parliament should travel to their various constituencies to help in government's own program of greening Ghana on the 11th of June. You were all in the House when the Speaker so directed. Now, the committees that work in Parliament work at the pleasure of the Speaker. And so the Speaker, when he wants a committee to sit, even on holidays or on recess, makes it clear that even as we go on recess, so and so committee will still be meeting. On the set date, the Speaker gave no exclusions. He directed all members of Parliament to go back to their constituencies to support the government program of greening Ghana.
President Akufo-Addo says he would ensure pro-poor social interventions initiated by his administration becomes a continuing feature of the country's development. The president was reacting to a commendation by chiefs in Mamprugu, Mwaduri district in the northeast region for such initiatives, particularly the Planting for Food and Jobs and the free senior high school programs. The president also reiterated his promise to build a new hospital for the district as part of his Agenda 111 healthcare policy. He was speaking on Wednesday at the district capital, Yagaba, where he ended a 2-day working visit to the region. More in this report.
Your Excellency, on security issues, it is undeniable fact that the role of the security personnel to the maintenance of peace and security cannot be overemphasized. The name of the region has always been in the news for bad reasons, such as day and night armed robberies. This is due to inadequate police personnel and vehicles to police this region of a land size of 10,484 square kilometers. The current state of the vehicles leaves much to be desired, since it cannot take them to places like Yagba, Bentere. Your Excellency had also directed the establishment of a military barracks for the region to be situated in Nalergo. Consequently, vast tracts of land has been allocated for the purpose. Unfortunately, since 2019, some trenches were dug apparently as foundation. The site has been abandoned. Now the proximity of the region to the borders and threats posed by Islamic militants and bandits call for an immediate action on the project.
The request the Mampruko overload was part of several other pertinent problems said to be affecting the newly created region, for which the king says gave him sleepless nights and wants the president to urgently address.
Your Excellency, our district is fortunate to be endowed with lots of natural resources. One resource we are told is in commercial quantity is the limestone deposit at Bangda, around Bangda. It is my appeal to the government to consider establishing a cement factory under the One District, One Factory initiative. This will help mine the natural resource and turn it into finished product for the use of Ghanaians. In addition to the numerous job opportunities that will be created for the teeming unemployed youth in this area and Ghana at large. Northeast region is appealing to you for the establishment of a satellite branch of the University of Development Studies in order that we can build the human capacity for the region.
In response, President Akufo-Addo first of all expressed his disappointment over the outcome of the 2020 general elections, especially in the two constituencies of Bunkurugu and Nalergu-Gambaga.
Now, I have to confess that I am, though, disappointed a little bit, not too much, but a little bit, that both Bunkurugu and Nalergu-Gambaga escaped from our net. Especially since the two important members of my government were our candidates in those two regions.
The president then assured the overlord and the people of the Northeast region of his absolute commitment to ensuring the development of the new region.
Particularly interested in the concept of a one district, one factory initiative as far as the cement factory here is concerned. The one district, one factory initiatives have so far not been state-run activities. We prefer to associate with entrepreneurs and business people who will set them up. And the inquiry is going to be very deep to see whether we can find such people in the Northeast with whom the government can partner to set up the factory in cement that you have alluded to. I've taken note of the request about the power outages and the electricity switching that you want here. As far as the tracts of land for the military and their barracks are concerned, Nalergu is one of the 15 forward operating bases that have been chosen by the military to defend our sovereignty and to provide the first line of defense against the terrorist outrages. So these, I'm going to launch the construction of these forward operating bases, I believe, in the next month in July. And subsequent to that, you will see very soon activity on the ground for the establishment of the military barracks here in Nalergu.
Ilyasu Tanko reporting.
Ghana's record of having at least 1 in every 5 children experience stunted growth during their first 100 days will soon be corrected. This will be done through the World Vision Ghana's project of improving feeding practices in selected areas for women and children who are under 2 years old. World Vision Ghana will supply supplementary feeding and also encourage complementary feeding as part of the measures to deal with malnutrition. Here is the project manager of improved feeding at the Ghana Health Service, Gladys Tete Yeboah.
Many women know
that after the age of 6 months, they must give complementary feeding. But the type of complementary feeding that we are giving to our children is not quality. Okay, so the purpose of this project is to introduce nutritional supplement that the mother can give to the child, even at that very age, and at the same time introduce feeding diversified feeds onto the homes. So that's how we are improving, we are supporting farmers.
Efwagate will be chairing a committee which is embarking on this project in selected districts in 3 regions in Ghana. That's the Upper East, the Bono East, and the Ashanti region. She says about 5,000 households would benefit from this 4-year program. Efwagate adds the program will be sustained and replicated across the country so that many more people, especially mothers and children, will continue to get access to nutritious food.
During the 4 years, we start putting in place building blocks for the years ahead. World Vision Ghana, for instance, we are looking at going into local fundraising. That when we local fundraise, at least we know where the money is going to. If you start with so wide a catchment area, then implementation becomes a problem. But if you're able to harness that within the regions that we have identified and make sure we get it right and learn from all our mistakes, then moving forward to the other regions, we'll be able to ensure that there's a rollout plan and other children in Ghana will benefit from it.
Government says it is committed to ensuring the construction of a sea defense wall along 3 communities in the Ketu South municipality of the Volta region. Residents in these communities say they fear their communities will be extinct soon if nothing is done about their plight. Works and Housing Minister Francis Asensubwachi, following a recent tour, assured the construction of the 8-kilometer sea defense project to protect the people of Agaveji, Salakope and Amuchinu, I beg your pardon. Mamavi Uswabwaje has more in this report.
Constructing the sea defense. The sea defense project was initiated following the devastating effects the sea was having on the shorelines of the country's coast. With about 60% of the project completed, Francis Asensubwachi believes government vision
And that's it for today. There is more news at myjoyonline.com. You certainly want to make a date for our live commentary games. You certainly know what to expect from what you've seen so far. My name is Gifty Ando Apia.